Well, good evening, everyone. It's 8 o'clock here in Central Texas. All regular traffic, please stand by. It's once again time for the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. Let me check and see if we got any emergency or priority traffic out there. If so, bring me a call now. Hearing none, I'll say that we always promptly yield to any emergency or priority traffic. Just break in there at any time and we'll yield for you, no problem. My name is Sammy, call sign N5TXR, and I'll be your net control for this evening. And the reason we need a net controller is because it is a controlled net. So please refrain from transmitting unless it's check-in time or directed. Here in a minute, I'll give you a rundown of what we do on the net every week, but looks like somebody's trying to get a hold of me. Ray, are you there? Am I coming through all right?
Roger, K5BZI here, man. You sounded great on the 320.
Okay, so I was looking for net logger. I didn't never see it, so I'll look again in a minute. All right, thank you, Ray. Well, I just wanted to check. Anyway, what we do, we'll go down through and we'll get us a list of short time check-ins, and that could mean several things. That you don't have time to hang out for the whole net, and you know that for sure. Or you may be able to come back later, or something along those lines. And if you're mobile, or if you got something to do with the XYL, that's the time to check in, short time. With traffic or no, it doesn't matter. And then you can always check back in later on if you find that you have the time to join us. And there's no problem with that. Let me let it drop again. Just a reminder, all licensed amateur radio operators are welcome to join us on the net. If you want to find out anything about the club and activities and repeaters and what we're linked up to, you can find all that information on n5oak.org. And just scroll through there. You might actually enjoy just the content, but you can find out what's going on there real time on the All-Star Node connection. I think it's the All-Star tab, but correct me if I'm wrong. And you can also join the club there, or you can get a link to join the Discord, which we use to talk to each other when we're not on the radio or otherwise. And that's how we're going to do the first part. Then we'll take a little break after a short time, and we'll get to test questions, and I got a special guest for that tonight. And then we'll move that over into, I think Ray is going to be doing the news tonight. Then we'll talk to a couple more folks, and then we'll move over into full-time check-ins. And it doesn't matter if you checked in early, you can come back. Just tell me it's a recheck. And that's all you got to do. One thing I have to warn you on, I'm going to take one call at a time because I'm writing everything in pen and paper. And my writing is not the best over this last year, but it's getting better. And if I'm not familiar with you, please give me that call sign loud and clear and phonetically, slowly, so I can copy it the first time and we can get you down and get you in there, and we won't have to go back and double check and all that good stuff. And I'd like to throw out a welcome to any of the newer members or newer hams that are out there. Please don't be afraid to join us. You can listen for a while and jump in there and ask questions, talk about things, talk about your experience getting your ticket, and pretty much anything you want to, and we can toss it around. So anybody's welcome that is a licensed amateur radio operator. Let me let it drop and we'll get underway. All right, this is N5TXR, and you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net here in on the N5OAK and associated systems. And like I said, you can find all those connections on our website, n5oak.org. Now, if you want to check in time, this is the time to do it. Bring me that call sign down.
This is Kilo Fox 5, Delta Papa X-Ray, short time, no traffic.
Hey Chris, good to hear you. Got you for short time, no traffic. You know you can always come back. Alright, who's next on this first round short time?
This is Kilo India 6, Hotel Quebec Tango, Ken in South Austin, no traffic.
Alright, Ken, got you in there. Good to hear you, man. I'm having to maybe go early to my backup pin here. I got you in there, Ken. Alright, who's next?
This is November 5 Sierra Mike Oscar Bill in North Austin.
Good evening, Bill. Got you in there. You sound a little, I don't know, a little different. You gonna be able to hang in there? That means yeah. Alright. Who wants to be next on this first round of short time check-ins?
This is 5 Foxtrot Delta Alpha, Paul, no traffic.
Oh, there was a double there at the very first of that. Could you repeat the first of your call, please, sir?
Kilo Foxtrot 5 Foxtrot Delta Alpha.
In there, no traffic. All right, the other station, Keto, go ahead.
This is Whiskey 7, Delta Tango X-Ray, Travis in South Austin, short time, no traffic.
Delta Tango X-Ray. Yeah, that was a good one. Travis, I thought it might have been another Travis. Got you in there, no traffic. All right, who's next?
This is KB5MPJ, Kilo Bravo 5, Mike Papa Juliet, Jason and Buda.
Jason, you didn't think I'd know who you were? I know, you're just conforming. All right, who's next?
This is KC2CR, Kilo Charlie 2, Romeo for California.
This is Alpha Golf 0, November Yankee.
Hold on there just a second. That KC2 station, I'm sure he's on an All-Star or something. Can you repeat the call again? There was a little bit of a double there. And it's pretty weak as it was, so if you could speak up, it'd help me too.
This is KC2 ZZR, Kilo Charlie 2, Zulu Zulu Romeo, calling from my handheld.
I got the call that time, and give me a name, and are you going to be hanging around, or short time, no traffic, or what?
This is Will. Yeah, I'll be hanging out. Good to see you.
Well, we're doing short time check-ins right now, and after we get through with that, we'll jump over in full-time check-ins, but you're welcome to stay as long as you want to. All right, next I had AG0NY, Shannon. Shannon, tell me traffic or no traffic.
No traffic.
Well, that's disheartening, but, you're always welcome to come back. All right, who is next on this first round of regular check-in? Short time check-ins.
This is Kilo
India 5, Yankee Charlie Lima, KI 5 YCL, Rob out in Blanco, no traffic.
I got you in there all the way from out there in the bush with no traffic. KA5YCL. Alright, who's next? Let it hang out there a little bit to see if there was some more Echolink or All-Star trying to get in. And do one more call for short time check-ins before we run back through this list. Alrighty. Well, this is M5TXR, and you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net here on the N508K and Associated Systems. First up, we had Chris, KF5DPX. He had no traffic. I want to tell Chris thank you for helping out my buddy Rod the other day. As a good man. Next up, we had KI6HQT. That's Ken. He had no traffic. And then we had Bill, N5SMO. And Bill, I came back to you there a little bit. Didn't mean to scare you off.
Hey, Sammy. It did scare me off. I was just waiting for you to go around and do the formal thing there. But it's good to hear you. They're back running the net again. And nothing much going on with me other than slept all day yesterday. Had some sinus surgery done that I've been putting off for a long time and finally got a chance to do it. So got on Medicare finally. So there you go. Government's paying for it, not me. And I picked up a new radio in Belton. Actually traded in. If anybody's thinking of like wanting to do an upgrade, I highly suggest you talk to Richard at Maine Trading Company. Man, the guy made me some great deals on my radios. He basically gave me what I was going to sell them for here, and gave me a trade in on a 7610, and I've been really enjoying it. It's a really nice radio. But that's all I got. I'm going to stick around for a while as long as I can stay awake here with the pain meds and hear what everyone else is doing. So back to the net from M5SMO.
Did you say sinus surgery?
Yeah. I've had a broken nose several times, and my septum was so bad off to the side that I could hardly breathe half the time, endeavor out of both sides. They did that, took out some polyps and did a turbinate reduction, all to try to give me more space to breathe. And it was. I thought it was going to be a piece of cake yesterday when I got home from the hospital. Man, it was great, but it's not very comfortable right now until they take all the splits and stuff out. But anyway, at least I got time to play on the radio because I'm not doing anything else. But I'll send it back to you, N5SMO.
All right, man. Well, hang out for a while if you can. Maybe give us more info on that deal with Maine Trading Company. Well, you're always welcome to come on back. All right, next up, Kilo Fox 5, Federal Department of Agriculture, FDA, I think is what he said. And I think he said it was tall, and that would be no traffic. Then we had W7 Delta Tango X-Ray, Travis, I believe he said, no traffic. Then we had Kilo Bravo 5, MPJ, Jason. What's going on down there in the south end of things?
This is KB5MPJ. Actually quite a bit. I went to Belton this weekend. That was a lot of fun. You probably saw the picture of, I think it was a 13-element Yagi that we put up on Ray's camper to get into the net. We were able to play trivia that night. We managed to make some DX contacts after the net on HF. It was a pretty good ham fest. I thought I got a few odds and ends. I picked up a transverter that I think I've already managed to blow the final out in, so I'm going to try to fix that. But I got an antenna for fox hunting. I got a bunch of connectors, various odds and ends and stuff. And so that was fun. Let's see what else. I've been practicing CW with Lance. We've got a little game that we've been playing on HF with CW to practice at it. Let's see, hit the CW net tonight. And then yesterday and today I also worked some 10-meter FM repeaters, which was fun. I only recently got a radio that'll do 10-meter FM, and the band's been really good. So made some contacts through there, and interestingly, I made a couple of contacts with people back here in Texas via a repeater up in New York. So that was pretty fun. And that's kind of what I've been up to, back to net control.
That's a whole lot. I could break all that down. But so you're using the New York City, the one on the Empire State Building?
No, it's the Catskill Mountains one.
Oh. Well, I wonder if the New York City one's still going. You know, they had a big controversy over moving the antenna at one time, and the FCC was getting all kinds of calls because there's idiots getting on there. And I don't know whatever happened about it, but there was some action being taken and things that were being happening and talking about tones, all this other stuff. Anyway, I don't know how it all worked out, but I'm glad to hear that you have worked some 10-meter repeaters. That's cool. Other thing was, let's see, there's so much stuff there, man. My mind don't work so good. But anyway, thanks for coming by, and hang out if you can, and we can talk more about it. Let's see if I got this call right, and I guess it was one of the fellows from up in the Tonawanda area. KC2ZZ Romeo, I believe it was. Name was Will. Correct me if I'm wrong, Will. Well, whatever you're going into, it's not quite making it. We didn't hardly hear any of that. If you want to change your position or whatever you have to do, if you want to get back in, and just give me a holler and we'll put you back in line. I'll put a question mark beside you here and see. We'll listen before you come back. Let me move on. Let's see. We got AG0NY Shannon with no traffic. I'm shocked. And then I believe it was KI5YCL, and he had no traffic. So let me check one time with KC2ZZ Red and see if he's making it in now.
Comment.
Hold on just a second, comment. Let me see if this guy can make the machine up there.
KC2ZZR, Kilo Charlie 2, Zulu Romeo, can you hear me?
Whoever that station was, you were making it good. If you hear from him, tell him he can just check back in if he gets a better position or something. And that comment out there, go ahead.
That was me, AG0NY. You brought up Shocked. That's going to be me on the 18th. I get to be RF ablated, so they're going to be using radio to shock me and do away with some nerves for a while to make me not hurt so much. So that's my shocking news.
Well, if I knew that, I would have borrowed my brother-in-law's cattle prod and fixed you right up.
I have enough issues with static. Thank you very much.
Nothing but static. All right, let's try the KC2 station one more time before we leave this part of the net. Well, we always like hearing from our friends up in the Buffalo area. They got a mighty fine football team, and a lot of people are going to figure that out one of these days. Let me check one more time to see if anybody else wants to check in short time.
You doubled with him, Sammy.
Sammy, KC2 ZZR's there.
Go ahead, Will.
ZZR, go ahead. Well, he was.
He's probably not getting into whatever he said. He can try it later.
He was booming in just a minute ago, so I don't know where he went. Anyway, go ahead. K5BZI back to net.
There was another KC2 on there with him trying to see if he could hear him at one point. And he was in there good and loud and proud. All right, anybody else want to check in a short time before we move on? All righty. Well, be advised there, Will. If you get a better position or whatever, you want to try it again, we'll be listening for you in between everything else. All right, now we're going to do our weekly test questions from the general class pool of questions. And we do this to help the techs hone up their skills and get ready to upgrade. Or generals and above just to keep in shape, but we'll let the techs take a chance at them first. And tonight, y'all haven't heard him in a long time, I'm sure. I think, in my humble opinion, the most valuable member of the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, and that would be Chris, KV5TX, and he's going to do the test questions for us tonight. Chris, are you there?
I certainly am. This is Chris, KV5TX, and I got two questions tonight. These are from the general class pool. Make sure I'm making it in. I don't think I've used this radio in a while.
You are.
Okay, you had me wondering there. Alright, so this question is for techs practicing to, or studying I should say, to take their general class exam. The first question from the general class pool from section G9, and the question is, what is the interaction between high standing wave ratio and transmission line loss? And the possible answers are A, there's no interaction between transmission line loss and SWR. B, if a transmission line is lossy, high SWR will increase the loss. C, high SWR makes it difficult to measure transmission line loss. Or D, high SWR reduces the relative effect of transmission line loss. So let's open it up to any techs out there that think they know the answer. Go ahead.
Relay, K5BZI.
Ray, you're not a tech, but go ahead.
That's what I said, relay. My nephew just passed the test yesterday, and he thinks it's Bravo.
Oh, I didn't hear you say relay. There's something going on with my radio because I'm not even hearing the courtesy beep. I think I'm missing parts of people's transmissions. Okay, you said his name is Cody, right? And he should be getting his call sign any minute now. I remember when you had to wait weeks, and now people are getting them overnight. I have him down for Bravo. Anybody else? Alright, tough crowd tonight. So the answer is B, Bravo. He was correct. And I'll read the question again. What is the interaction between high stemming wave ratio and transmission line loss? The correct answer is if a transmission line is lossy, high SWR will increase the loss. So that one should be fresh on his mind. Congratulations. Alright, and for the second question, this is from group G9. What does front to back ratio mean in reference to a Yagi antenna? And the possible answers are A, the number of directors versus the number of reflectors, B, the relative position of the driven element with respect to the reflectors and directors, C, the power radiated in the major radiation lobe compared to that in the opposite direction, or D, the ratio of forward gain to dipole gain.
Man, you're just asking two tough questions.
Relay, Cody says, I think you said Charlie. Yeah, Cody says Charlie.
Alright, anyone else with a guess?
KG5, KVJ, is that for everybody, general class included, or just tech class?
Yeah, we'll open it up to everyone. I forgot to mention that. Go ahead.
It's KG5, KVJ. I'm going to guess Charlie as well.
Okay, well, both of you are correct. The answer is Charlie. Front to back ratio in a Yagi antenna referred to the power radiated in the major radiation lobe compared to that in the opposite direction. And with that, I'll hand it back to Sammy. 5TXR, KB5TX.
Thank you, Chris. I think you whooped them. Wasn't too many answers out there. I think you whooped them. All right, let me ID. This is N5TXR, and you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. Brought to you every Thursday night at 8 o'clock, faithfully since 2015. Imagine that. And we are on the N5 OAK and Associated Systems. Next up, and I'm glad that Allie was going to do the news, and then she wasn't going to do the news, but now she is going to do the news. So I've been enjoying listening to her give the news. So Allie, you're up over there. I'm going to turn it over to the K5BZI station.
Hi, this is Ray, K5BZI. Thank you for handing it over there, net control, and here is my XYL Allie with the news.
Doreen Bogdan Martin, KD2JTX, is elected as next ITU Secretary General. The International Telecommunication Union, the United Nations Specialized Agency for Information and Communication Technologies, has announced the election of Doreen Bogdan Martin of the United States of America as the next ITU Secretary General. Bogdan Martin will assume office on January 1st, 2023. She's radio amateur, call sign KD2JTX. The election took place during ITU's Plenipotentiary Conference, PP22, in Bucharest, Romania, on Thursday, September 29, 2022. Bogdan Martin won the position with 139 votes out of 172 votes cast by representatives of member services. Quote, "This is an exciting development for ITU," end quote, said International Amateur Radio Union President Tim Elam, VE6SH. She will be the first female SG Secretary General and only the third to hold an amateur license. Doreen has an exciting agenda for ITU, end quote. The U.S. Department of State has published a statement from Bogdan Martin as well as her biography and vision. Quote, "She will make an outstanding ITU Secretary General and one IARU will be proud to work with one half of the amateur services," end quote, said Elam. Next up, support ARRL when you shop Amazon's holidays deals. Amazon's Prime Early Access Sale is set for October 11 and 12, 2022, and offers tons of deals ahead of Black Friday. The second Amazon Prime Day event will feature exclusive discounts across all categories for Amazon Prime members. As you browse great deals, you can support ARRL when you shop at Amazon Smile and choose American Radio Relay League Inc., ARRL, as your charity of choice. When you join Amazon Smile and shop at smile.amazon.com all year long, you are generating donations to ARRL. With every qualifying purchase you make through Amazon Smile, Amazon will donate to ARRL at no cost to you. This helps ARRL extend its reach in public service, advocacy, education, technology, and membership. Get a head start on your holiday shopping this season and support the amateur radio service and ARRL with your eligible purchases. For more information on Amazon's Prime Early Access Sale and Amazon Smile, visit Amazon Smile and log in to your Amazon account. Next up, Club Grant application period open until November 4. The ARRL Foundation Club Grant Program opened a second grant proposal period which began September 7, 2022 and runs until November 4, 2022 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Radio clubs can apply now, and information about the program can be found on the ARRL website www.arrl.org/club-grant-program. Following the first proposal period that ran earlier this year, 128 clubs applied for grants with a variety of outstanding projects. Emphasis is placed on projects that have a component of community involvement, training, new hemp development, and club revitalization. 24 clubs were chosen and nearly $270,000 was awarded. Clubs that applied in the first round and did not receive a grant are urged to reapply. The ARRL Foundation will award an additional $230,000 in grants at the end of the second application round. An informational webinar was held on September 7, and a recording of that event can be seen on ARRL's YouTube channel at https://. We will send you that link.
If you like that link, it is on the ARRL news site. Look for Club Grant application period open until November 4th. And that's all for the news. K5BZI, back to net.
Alrighty. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Ray. Let me see here. You're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. Brought to you every Thursday here on the N5 OAK and Associated Systems. All right, let's see here. Let me see, do we have anybody, because I know there's some activity, do we have anybody that wants to do a report on fox hunting? If you do, bring me a call sign.
KI5MVF.
Good evening, Jeffrey. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening to you as well, Sammy. Thanks for running the net. We didn't have a fox hunt this past weekend, at least not one that I'm aware of. I think we've all been taking some breaks with Belton, and then I think prior to that was Rusty's fox crawl, which was a great time. But we do have a fox hunt this weekend. Ashley, using my call sign, KI5MVF, is going to be hiding Ernesto's, that is KI5PZN, his transmitter, somewhere in southwest Austin. She has heeded the request to keep it away from ACL, because she also doesn't want to deal with ACL traffic. So if you are interested in getting out there and doing some fox hunting this weekend, I will be sharing her map when she sends it to me sometime tomorrow afternoon. She's aiming for 5 o'clock to have it on and deployed. And so it should be on all weekend. That's all I've got for fox hunting news myself. I do know that Rusty's going to plug his club event that he's got coming up soon, which includes some extra fox hunting in it as well. So I'll give you the full rundown on that. But more fox hunting, special events to look forward to. As always, if you have questions or interest in fox hunting, I highly recommend you go to the club's website and join our Discord, and then find us on the Fox Hunt channel. Again, Rusty will give you the information on the website and how to find our Discord page. This is KIVF, back to net. Thanks, Sammy.
All right, Jeffrey. Good to hear from you. Fox news or not? I know you fox hunters are a breed apart, and you got to have your fox news. All right, next up, let's see if the aforementioned Rusty, WZ5BBS Club President, well, most time he's social director, sometime president. Let's see if he's got anything he wants to tell you about all the world famous Friday Night Trivia Net or fox hunting or events and alike. If he's ready, if you're there, Rusty, please let us hear what you got to say.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, you better get your backup pin ready, because I got too much stuff that's going to make your head spin. For all the new members out there that don't know, the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club has a trivia net right here every Friday at 9 p.m. Last week we had 29 players, and check it out, Sky N5LX came in first place, Matt KI5VND came in second, and Leonard KI5NLC came in third. The elimination round was a tricky one. We only made it past the first question, and it took like everybody out. We got we got 6 people that got taken out on the second question. So the elimination did not last very long for the Belton Ham Radio Weekend Trivia Elimination Round. As far as player rankings go, Kent, KI5, RBT, he's still the man to beat. So get in there and make that happen. We got North versus South tomorrow. The North is 1-9 to the South 6. So South, man, y'all need to get in here and represent for sure. North versus South is coming in tomorrow. Anybody can play. All you need is a smartphone, a tablet, or a computer. We got the bingo starting at 8:30, so you got something to do while you're hanging out waiting for the net to begin. I will put all the details in the link in the Thursday Night Net Discord channel. To check out the player rankings, stats, net logs, or any information about the Friday Night Trivia Net, head over to n5oak.org and click on the Trivia Net tab. And for official club business, we're sitting at 460 members. We got no new members as of last week. So If you want to join the club, all you have to do is head over to the website n5oak.org, click on the join button. It's free to join. While you're there, join us on Discord. Now's a good time because we have all the welcome team hanging out, looking at Discord. So we need your call sign and your name. Everything is free, so come and join us. Next club meeting is next Saturday, October 15th. It's at the Housen branch at the Austin Public Library. All of that information is on the website as well as Discord. We also have our very first N5OAK Park potluck. That's going to be at McKinney Falls State Park on Saturday, November 5th. The club has rented out the dining hall, then it'll hold like 75 people. So we're doing a potluck. We're providing fried chicken and drinks, and you need to bring a side or a dessert or both, and come and join us and have some fun at McKinney State Falls Park November 5th. We also have fox hunts, like Jeffrey said. We're going to have a bunch of foxes out there. We got Lance, W5KEX is coming out to set up a POTA station. So if you've ever wondered about parks on the air, wanted to play, wanted to see what it's all about, the club will have a POTA station out there. We'll be making contacts all day. And we have this thing all day, so we can stick around there as long as you want. I think they're going to kick us out at 9 o'clock at night. So if it sounds interesting or if it sounds fun, please come and join us. RSVP on the web. All the details are on the web and in the social meetups channel on Discord. So go check that out. Jeffrey told us all about the fox hunts. He and Ashley is really putting out the Ernesto fox, and Sky N5LX is also putting out a fox. So we got 2 foxes going out this weekend. If you would like to be the fox, you can go sign up on the web as well. We have a brand new fox hunt page, so go check us out, n5oak.org/fox hunt. And then for all y'all with DMR radios, man, the DMR repeater now has a net every night. We got round tables, rag chews, tech nets, amateur astronomy nets, sound check nets, train nets, RV nets, like it's all kinds of fun. So I signed us up for all kinds of things, and the DMR repeater is busy every night. Check out the web for all the details on the DMR repeater and the net schedules over there. And of course, the easiest way to stay up to date is to subscribe to the official club calendar, and then we'll just put all the stuff on the calendar, and you don't even have to mess with it. Head over to the website, n5oak.org, and click on the calendar tab to make that happen. And you can add your birthday, just like Rod. Rod's missing out on the club meeting because it's his birthday. He's turning 35, so we'll have to wish him a happy birthday. But that's all I got, man. Thanks for running the net, Sammy. It's been fun hearing you on here. Reminds me of all the good old days. So with that, we'll send it back to Net Control, N5TXR, WZ5BBS.
You've been a busy bee, haven't you? Got all kinds of stuff going on. People, I guess, will have to look at the calendar now, because there's no way I could have wrote all that down to repeat all of it. But thank you for what you do. Let me see if anybody else has any announcements or club news they'd like to bring up, or anything pertaining to club questions or anything like that. If you do, bring me a call sign now.
This is KG5KVJ.
Oh, Garrett, go ahead.
Thanks for running that tonight, Sammy. I just wanted to say, if you're interested in becoming a net control operator tonight, is the premium time to get in on it. Discord is exactly where you want to be. There is a Thursday night net channel. There is a script up there. There is all kinds of goodies if you want to become a net control operator. It's preferred, though, that if you want to be net control, that you at least do the news or do the questions a couple of times. It kind of gets the jimmies out of your pantaloons there, and kind of preps you for it. So remember, net control. Highly encourage you to get on Discord. KG5KVJ, back to net control.
All right, Garrett. Well, thanks for that. I'll tell you why in a minute. All right, anybody else got anything like that, or any other club pertaining news or questions or anything like that? If you do, bring me a call sign now. Hey, well, let me identify. This is N5TXR, and you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net here on the N5OAK and Associated Systems. And I had a little bit of an announcement, and that's why I wanted to get KB5TX on here tonight, and Ray and Rusty and all. But I think a lot of you know my situation over here and what's been going on, a little bit of it anyway. But we finally were told today that they have their permits, so we're going to have to accelerate our leaving here. And I'm about to have to take all the radio stuff down and all that. Let me let it reset. To make a long story short, this is my last net control for this outstanding bunch of folks. I won't be able to do it again while I'm here, and I won't be able to do it again out there for the near future. So I was hoping I could get a lot of people I know and get them on for one last time, one last go around. And I really do appreciate folks like Chris, who's been here from the start, who's managed our repeater system, who's managed our all-star system, who's taking care of all that, taking care of all the business when others couldn't or wouldn't. He's been here from the beginning, and he's a very good example of the backbone of this outstanding club. Along with Ray, who's the most valuable net control operator, who held it down as many times as I can imagine that he really didn't want to, but he did anyway, and he got in the mood to do it, and he did a great job, and I'll always appreciate him. And Rusty, and all the other board members, you know, I love y'all. But I want you to know that, and I want you to know why. That people were asking about my motivation to do the net, but that's why. And I do enjoy it, and I've been doing it for since 2015. And I can't think of one net that I'm not happy with. I always said it's not the quantity of people, it's the quality. And there's fine quality here. So I want you all to know that. And then I'll get off my soapbox, and we'll get on and see if anybody wants to check in, a regular check-in, here on this first round of regular check-in. If you do, bring a call sign now.
This is Kilo India 5, Mike Victor Frank.
Hi, Deborah, got you down there. I had you up here, but I'm going to move you down here into the regular check-in portion. All right, who's next? Bring me a call sign now.
This is South Dallas.
See here, we got Rusty, I'm pretty sure, and there was another station keyed up. That other station, go ahead.
This is K5MWA, 510 Oak Hill.
All right, that time I got Mike with attitude, and somebody was doubling with him. And that other station, go ahead.
KG5UNK.
Oh, Doug, how you doing? I got you in here. Good to hear you. All right, who's next?
This is K5PZN.
All right, Ernesto, got you in here. All right, who's next?
This is
W5NDS.
Good evening, Rod. Got you in there. And that other station that was doubling, go ahead.
KI5OBD, Scott and Kyle.
N5LNO, Caldwell, Larry.
I got you in there, Scott. And Larry, I got you in there. All right, who's next?
I-5KAT Steven, North Austin.
All right, Catman, got you down in there. All right, who's next?
This is KI-5 RBT Kent in Pflugerville.
Kent, your ears must have been ringing. All right, who's next?
This is AG5SJ, Micah, no traffic.
All right, Micah. Good to hear you, as always. I'm going to write you down for no traffic, but, you know, I may call on you anyway. All right, who's next?
This is AI5HP, Aaron in Buda.
All right, Aaron, I got you in there. I even got the call sign right, because I've been seeing it on Discord. All right, who's next?
This is Anderson, KI-5 NLK. And Garrett, I don't think he got you.
Pat Anderson, Garrett trying to check back in?
Net control, I did check in, but I double with somebody. Some people said that you didn't get me. I have no idea, but if I'm already on the list, then I wasn't trying to check back in. KZ5, KVJ.
Well, I wrote you in there when you gave your little announcement, and I was going to go to you first. Last one I had is KI5NLK. All right, who's next on this hit list? That might have been, I'm just guessing, KC2ZZR again, but he's still not making it.
IR.
That time I heard IR. Did anybody hear anything that I'm not hearing?
It's Sam, AI5IR. He's on a HT.
AI5IR, correct?
QSL.
See, was I correct? AI5IR?
QSL. His name is Sam. And Sam, you gotta, I don't know what's going on, but you're opening up the repeater, but we can't hear any audio from you except the last bit. So key up and then wait a couple seconds and then start talking.
All right, we'll see if anybody else want to check in on this first round of regular check-ins. Bring that call sign down.
This is KC2ZZR, Will and Joker, KC2ZZR.
All right, Will, we got you in there that time. I got you in there. I got you down for a recheck. And we heard all that this time. I didn't know if you wanted to. Let me I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to end this first round of check-ins, and I'll come to you in just a minute here since you're having a hard time holding that machine up there. All right, let's let it drop. This is M5TXR, and you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net here on the N5OAK and Associated Systems. We'll check back and see if we got anybody wants to check in on another round of regular check-ins here in a minute. But let's get through some of this. Let's see if Will can hear us better now. And I got you in there. So, Will, if you can hear us, tell us what's happening. What do you think of our net?
Will, KCGGR, love the net. I called into the trivia night on Friday. It was a whole lot of fun. Had a friend in from Dallas. We did it together. He was an expert on some of the nerdier aspects, and we did pretty good. And apparently I won a lifetime membership to the club, so I'm happy to be a lifetime member. Thanks, guys.
Oh, that's one of Rusty's little tricks. You still have to go to the website and join, but it's painless. You just click on and put in your call sign and whatever information you want to put, and that'll sign you up officially to the club, and you'll appear on the club member list, which Rusty gives out the member list count every week on this net. And I'm glad you finally got through. Let's see if anybody has got anything for Will up there. A trivia buff. All right, Will. Well, thanks for joining us, man. And make sure you come back by. And, yeah, stay on that trivia net. Every once in a while it comes up with some good categories. He might fool you. Or he might put on Bob's Burgers. You just never know. All right, next on my list here is Garrett, KG5K. I always mess up the last name, but KVJ. Sorry, man.
Not going to lie, Sammy. Appreciate you running the net, and my call sign, the last part of it is it's pretty confusing because it leads you into one thing and you're expecting something, and it's just not there. It's KVJ. So anyway, nothing new and fantastic for this week. If you listen to the UT Amateur Radio Net on Wednesdays, right before this, you'll pretty much hear all my updates, and it's just a repeat of that. But no, Tilly's, my baby's doing great. My wife is super happy. Nothing new and fantastic under the sun here. My tractor cuts grass, and I'm just going to turn it back over to Net Control. KG5, KVJ, Patch Net.
Well, that's awesome, fine business there, man. Always good when the kiddos are doing well, especially when they're that young. Oh, boy, I remember it. One of my youngest was, probably a little older than yours is now. I was in AIT at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and having to ride with a buddy of mine or run and jump and get on the bus and get to formation early in the morning, and I didn't get much sleep there for a few months, so I know all about the kiddos, and if you got a good one, man, you're really blessed. All right, anybody out there got anything for Garrett this evening? If you do, bring me a call sign now. All right, Garrett, good to hear you, man. And thanks for being one of the Net Control crew. And I hope it grows and we get some really good people in. But thanks for coming by this evening. Let's see here. I got to put my specs back on. Next up is Jeffrey, KA5MVF. Jeffrey, what's happening? And tell us about Belton.
Hey, Sammy. I switched radios. Can you confirm that I'm still coming in just fine?
You sound fine to me.
All right, great. So KI5MVF here. I got quite a few things from Belton, including this Heil headset, the Pro 7 headset. I picked it up from Steven, KAT, and coming in on it now. Using it on my own radio for the first time right now, which is why I wasn't sure if it was going to be working right, so hopefully I sound okay. Got to spend a lot of time at Belton with Ray and Jason, and saw Ernesto, and Rusty, and Mike, and Doug, and Steven, and saw Sam AI5IR from a distance, and Larry, L&O, I believe we saw him, Ray, too. Saw a bunch of people out there, so it was great seeing everybody. And then bought some fox hunting equipment and overall, just had a good time out there. Otherwise, besides Belton, I've picked up some parts for this weekend to stick up this Tram 1411 disc cone that Mike recommended me about a year ago now. I finally decided that with all this talk of 10-meter propagation in the afternoons that I got to get something up and out there, and so I bought a 10-foot section of EMT, and I'm going to drive it into the ground back here in the backyard and just stick the antenna up on top, and then run coax all the way up to the other side of the house, and hopefully get in on some of that 10-meter action. Otherwise, Belton, fox hunting, UHF stuff, that's about it. Glad to hear you running the net, Sammy, and who knows, maybe we'll get you a 14-element Yagi out there wherever you're going and get you back in on the net. Nothing's impossible. KI5 and VF, back to net.
Well, I still have my 11-element that's set up for, this part of the band, repeater part of the band. But I just don't know if they're going to let me put it up, and I kind of doubt that they will. But that sounded like a good time at Belton. And people saying, oh, we set up that 2-meter beam. And I said, yeah, man, I talked on it. Jeffrey was going around cross-banding and looking for hamburgers or something. So it did work. And y'all sounded good at it. I appreciate it. Anybody got anything for Jeffrey out there this evening? If you do, bring me a call sign down.
K5BZI.
BZI, go ahead.
I just wanted to give Jeffrey kudos on the headset there, man. It looks great. Sounds awesome. I'm glad you finally got it all hooked up, man. That was a hell of a purchase.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. I appreciate the encouragement to buy the adapter as soon as possible. It came in, I think, last night or yesterday evening, and so glad to put it to use. I appreciate you letting me warm it up that first night on your radio too. So, thanks, Ray.
All right, well, I know, I was going to say something about the headset. I was going to say it sounded like a headset, but you might could turn it up some in the radio if you don't have it already. But it sounds good. Sounds kind of like airplane pilot audio. All right, anybody else got anything for Jeffrey out there before we move on? All right, Jeffrey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for all you do with fox hunts and such. All right, next before I move along, let me do an ID real quick, because it may get long-winded, I don't know. This is M5TXR, and you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, brought to you faithfully since 2015 on this very repeater system, and its associates for quite a while, too. Next up on the list, Club President, WZ5BBS. Go ahead, Rusty.
Hey, Sammy, everybody on the net. Yeah, I went to Belton and had fun. Went up, we drove up with Ernesto and got to go do the once around. I didn't buy anything, but it's always fun to go hang out and see what's up. We missed out on the gun show and the tractor museum. I got about an hour and a half worth of sleep between the trivia net being over and Ernesto knocking on my door. So I think it was about 10:30, 11. Man, I was beat. And luckily, so was Ernesto. So we came back kind of dragging, and I think I took a nap from about 12 until 5, and then I was up to like 5 o'clock in the morning. So my whole clock got rearranged for the weekend. But that's what you do when you go to Belton, and it's fun to see all the gear and all the people. So you can't ever miss out on Belton. Luckily, it's twice a year. As far as this being your last net, man, that's a bummer. I was thinking back when I joined the club, my first net I ever did was with you, and man, I heard you on the repeater when I moved down to Austin, and I was like, man, I'm gonna like this dude. He reminds me of all the old men that I grew up with, and man, you were funny and made me feel quite welcome. So thank you for being the president of the club. Thank you for nominating me as the president of the club, and thanks for hanging out with all us knuckleheads and doing what you do, man. We're gonna miss you, and I get that you can't, maybe be net control, but you better check in, man. So we better not lose sight from you. But we love you, man, and thanks for doing one last net. WZ5BBS back to net control.
Well, I appreciate all that. I do. I really do. And I just don't know. I don't even know, Rusty, if I'm going to have internet or how. If it's going to be enough for what I need to do. So, it's just kind of up in the air. But I do need to pull all this stuff out of here. I'm going to demo the shack and take a lot of the lumber with me to use on other projects. So I got to get all this stuff off of here. And we don't really have a hard deadline yet, but we need to start moving. And I appreciate what you do for the club. And I told you, it's going to be fun. All right, anybody got anything for Rusty out there this evening?
KI5MVF.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Hey, Rusty. I appreciate the invite this week to the Chinese buffet. It was good to finally make it out to that. And then I didn't catch whether or not you plugged the Discord video channel for tonight on your announcement portion, but I can say there's 9 of us in here right now, and it's going pretty strong. I saw Cat climbing all over against KI5RBT earlier too. It was pretty funny. So worth jumping in there. Highly recommend it. KI5MVF.
I did not plug the video net. I always forget about that. That's Ray's job. Like Ray's the video dude. But yeah, no, I missed out on that. It was good having the old quarterly check is always fun. Go to the Chinese buffet and see if I still have the old iron gut. Luckily, Ernesto and I have we eat the same things, so it's nothing really scares us. But yeah, it was good. We had Jeffrey and Doug and Ernesto and myself for the Chinese buffet on Wednesday. And that just literally, that comes out of me, texting Ernesto. It's like, hey, you want to go get fat on Wednesday? So that's usually what prompts that. But yeah, man, it was good having you, and it's always fun to go gorge yourself and then try to stay awake for the rest of Wednesday. But good to see you, man.
I was going to say Ernesto was over here on Wednesday. And he could barely move. Must have been right after y'all got through with your Chinese delicacies. All right, anybody else got anything for Rusty out there before we move on? All right, Rusty. Well, thanks for all the flowers, as they say. Another thing that prompted me to come do a last net was a fellow that I talked to maybe a time or two on HF. He was up in a Round Rock and trying to get in and couldn't quite make it there for a little bit. And he kept trying and finally got through, and he said he hadn't heard me in a while, and he was telling me that his journey on listening to repeaters and listening on, his scanner and getting involved, listening to our nets over the years, all the different people and all the different things that went on, and he did like a lot of guys do, and slowly worked his way and got his ticket, and now he plays around on HF with some of the big boys, and he just stopped by to tell me thanks, and that made me feel really cool. So I thought, well, for the folks like him I'll do that again and tell everybody about it. So if I get long-winded, you'll have to, don't judge me too harshly. I heard something there about couldn't make it out. Did y'all make it out? This was something else. All right. Let's see. Next up on the list is Mike, K5MWA. Mike, what's happening? Did you go to Belton? And you're talking people into buying discounts? What's up, man?
I'm not a discount salesman there, Sammy, but I've had a lot of luck on it in the last year or so I've been playing, so Jeffrey just listened in to what I was talking about and going to take the plunge and see what he can do on 10 meters with it, 10 and 12. In fact, Jeffrey, I sat down tonight, the first contact I've made in a while, because it's the first time I sat down to the HF radio in a while. Propagation's good, and I hit Venezuela on 12 meters. Just thought I'd let you know that. And last one I did was, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. It's like, anyway, work's been a lot lately. Been really hammering us, so I haven't had a chance to get on. Haven't had a chance to play, but I will say, I think Sammy was probably one of the first people I ever talked to when I got my ticket back last year, June, July, something. And that you know, I was out there seeing what was out there, and Sammy responded, and I was like, oh, cool. So he was probably one of the first contacts I had. So Sammy for being out there for us all this time, and we sure appreciate your wisdom and humor, to say the least. And that's about all I've got for right now. I'll turn it back to net. K5MWA, back to net control.
Well, thank you, Mike. I'm not sure where the wisdom scale sets here nowadays, but I usually try to answer questions if I'm asked, and if I don't know, I don't speculate. I pass it on to more worthy answerers. Is that even a word? Probably not. All right, let's see. Anybody got anything for Mike out there this evening? And I was thinking disco, and I was trying to think of a song that would be, and I kept thinking about Batman's song, Disco. Anybody else got anything for Mike out there this evening?
Hey, what about Disco and Duck?
Just about to say that, or type it to Ray.
AG0NY.
Man, y'all are really showing something there. Turning discount into discount Duck. But, I don't know, I'll let you slide on it. Anybody else got anything for Mike? Mike with attitude tonight. Anybody got anything for him? Bring the call sign now.
Yes.
Go ahead.
What's in the air fryer tonight, Mike?
Oh, that would have been some chicken breast, but big old chicken breast, but they turned out a little tougher than I liked, so well, you just have to go with what you got, and a few baby potatoes in the Instant Pot.
Roger that. Back to net.
Ron, I thought that was you, but I just got the tail end of your call. But, air cooking, I don't know. I do convection stuff, but I'm not sure if that's what you call air. I don't know. There's so many things nowadays. But we use the heck out of our convection. All right, let me do an ID. This is N5TXR. You're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday night net here on the N5 OAK and Associated Systems. And if you want a rundown of all those associated systems, you can go to n5oak.org and look at all the connections and the links and all that good stuff. You could find out how to join, how to donate, how to hang out. All there by just going to m508k.org. All right, Mike, great to hear you, man. And I remember when you first came on and over here buying stuff from me. All right, next up, Doug, AG5UNK. Doug, what's going on, man?
Well, like others, I went to Belton this weekend and looked around and hung out, met some people, met up with some people, kind of done, been working on radios a little bit, doing some repairs, and I guess been working on the house, working around stuff around here, and that's about it. Glad to hear you on here, Sammy, running the net. Anyway, yeah, we did go to, as been mentioned, with Rusty and Ernesto and Jeffrey there to the Chinese and had lunch yesterday, so that was pretty good. Anyway, that's about it. KG5UNK.
Well, you hadn't been just laying up like me. I don't do I don't do much anything. Sounds like you're pretty busy still. And did we figure out the deal from Tuesday night with Rod's signal on his new radio? Did we figure that out?
No, I haven't talked to him. I know he's on here tonight, but I haven't talked to him or been over there. It needs to be looked at just to make sure. I could hear him, but yeah, not very strong. So I don't know yet.
We'll stick around and we'll dig into it. You know, I can dig deep. All right, anybody got anything for Doug out there this evening? If you do, bring me a call sign now. Oh, I thought I heard somebody key up.
KAT.
Go ahead, Steven.
First of all, am I sounding all right? I've got playing with my audio.
Well, it's a tad bit noisy, so it's not a really good audio sample, but we are hearing you.
Let's try this one then. Anyway, I was just going to comment about UNK's signal as I was hearing him like plus 60 on the reverse. Just something funny. KI5KAT.
Doug, you want to respond? Go ahead.
You know, you're close enough, and I'm probably pointed right across you. Everything's focused down south.
Y'all won't have no trouble on Simplex then, huh?
Try simplexing sometime. KI5KAT.
All right, anybody else got anything for Doug before we move on? All right, Doug, thanks for dropping by, man. Always good to hear you. Wish we could do some rag chewing, you know, without having to wait. I know it's not their fault, but we don't ever, while these guys with HTs and stuff, we don't know what's going on. So sometimes we ought to get somewhere and get on Simplex and shoot the you-know-what. All right, next up on the list is Ernesto. KI5PZN. Is the Bear Hap there with you tonight, Nesto?
This is KI5PZN. No, Mireya left for a little bit. She went to visit her sister. A short visit. No, man. But I'm here with Enrique. And we've been having a good time here. Let's see. I went to Belton. Got me a bunch of guys over there. All of the guys that Jeff said, I guess, the same people except for Doug or Michael. I didn't bump into them. Got me an attenuator, one of those long ones for the truck for fox hunting, and one of those 90 degrees coax adapter for my 220 rigs, too close to the wall, so that was perfect. Let me let it reset. And then, let's see, that was that. Tuesdays, the Southside Simplex, always fun talking to you guys. I got to talk to this dude on 60 meters. His name is Sammy, N5TXR. That was my first contact on 60 meter. That was cool. Thanks, Sammy, for that. And then, let's see, just working, really busy with work, but took a break on Wednesday and had lunch with the guys. That was fun, and went and stopped by Sammy. Let me let it reset again. Picked up the tower that Sammy gave me, and been holding it for 4 months, and just finally got it here to the house. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's about it. Just doing stuff here and there. HF at nighttime, and 10 meters been really interesting too. So all of those things, and 11 meters, of course. That's about it, man. Thanks for running the net. It's really a treat having you running the net. And all right, well, back to net control. This is KI5PZN.
All right, Nesto. Well, that was a mouthful. And hello, Enrique. K-Flay. Yeah, I was. That day was weird. I forget what happened that day, but man, today was the weirdest. I just barely got here to do the net and cram some fast food down my face. But that day was weird too. I can't remember what all. But I do remember you coming by and driving off with towers sticking out of your back windshield. All right, anybody got anything for Nesto out there this evening? All right, Nesto. Appreciate it, man. Stick around. Maybe we'll have something to talk about somewhere down the line. All right, next up is W5NDS. That's Rod, my good buddy. Rod, did you figure out what was going on with the new radio setup? Or have you even checked into it?
Well, good evening, Sammy, and everybody on the net. I am operating from the new setup here in Studio A, and coming through the 441-775 repeater. Everyone's sounding great through that system. I wanted to say it's nice to hear Chris on doing the questions, and congratulations to Bill for the IC 7610, and I'm glad to be on here on your final time as net control, Sammy. And let me drop it here a minute. Okay. I worked New Zealand tonight on 10 meters SSB, and that was using my hex beam. He was 5'9" here. He gave me 5 and 4. And let's see, not too much else of pertinence here. Unless I have the setup over in Studio B. Oh, and I wanted to tell Stephen that when you switched over to the other setup, your audio was nice and clear. So enjoyed. Glad I can pass that along to you. So that's the news from here. Michaela is ailing now, and she took a COVID test this evening, and that was negative, so at least that much is a relief. W5NDS back to net.
Oh, that's no bueno. My mother recently got sick and said it was a real bad cold. She did a COVID test, and it was negative. 2 days later, I made her do another one because she was still sick and getting worse. And lo and behold, it was COVID. So, be careful over there, Rod. And have her test, a day or two and recheck it. Just for my benefit. And tell her I hope she feels better. And, the New Zealand contact. On the hex beam, on what band did you say?
10 meters, SSB.
I thought that's what you said, but I didn't write it down. Well, that's very cool. I was going to make a lame joke about did you speak New Zealand to them, but I'll just set that aside. And see if anybody out there's got anything for Rod this evening. If you do, bring me a call sign now.
K5MWA.
Go ahead, Mike.
Rod, I just can't wait till in the morning to find out what you might have had for dessert tonight. Hi.
Well, it's waiting, Mike. There's still a few oatmeal chocolate cookies in the tin there, so I'll be enjoying 2 or maybe 3 of those this evening before retiring.
Will that be with or without milk?
Well, most probably with milk, although I have other options.
Great to hear what those other options might be.
I think there's an IBC root beer in there, but that would keep me awake all night. We have a few White Claws in the fridge, thanks to Michaela. And there's 1 or 2 other options in there. There's Diet Coke, etc. But my milk is looking pretty reasonable at this point, Mike. Back to net.
Well, I would have stopped at milk, but that's, personal preference. All right, anybody else got anything for Rod out there this evening before we let him go? Making them 10-meter contacts to them Kiwis. If you got something to talk to Rod about, bring me a call sign now.
AI5HP.
HP, go ahead, Aaron.
Hey, so Rod and Sammy, yeah, I just want to say on the Southside Simplex the other night, I didn't get to hear either you, Sammy, or Rod too well. Of course, I still haven't. I've got that big external antenna, but I'm too lazy, I guess, to climb up on the roof and give it some more altitude. But I will say that I put my radio on monitor, and I didn't pick up the whole conversation, but I came away from it craving caramel apples and score toffee bars. So thanks for that, AI5HP.
So they're doing the same thing to me tonight with the cookies. I got a double moon pie staring me in the face. Rod, you want to say something to Aaron?
I just want to say you're sounding great through the repeater, Aaron, and nice to hear you real well. Get that antenna up on the house top there so we can hear you on Tuesday nights with more clarity.
All right, anybody else got anything for Rod before we let him go? All right, Rod. Always good to hear your voice, man. You know you're one of my favorites. so don't change. All right, let me do an ID real quick. This is N5TXR, and you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net here on the N5OAK and Associated Systems. And next up, we got Scott. He is my main nemesis on trivia. Scott, what are you up to, man? How's it working out with the new gear?
Hey, Sammy. Thanks for running the net. And yeah, I don't know what all this final net thing is about. I'm skeptical. There's, James Bond, Sean Connery made a Bond movie, came back and made a movie and called it Never Say Never Again. So, there's always, you never know what circumstances may come along that may lead you to want to run another net. Anyhow, but yeah, back to our conversation about the new amp, and I don't think there's anything wrong with my tuner. And this ties into Rod's contacts. Last weekend there was that Oceania DX contest, and I worked 5 Australian stations, 1 in New Zealand, 1 in Samoa, plus Italy and Argentina. But and the amp hung in there with me most of the time. And once again, Sammy, your advice hit the nail right on the head. Just backing off on the input wattage a little bit made the amp behave a lot better. And maybe you were right about my rig running, maybe putting out a couple more watts than it says it is. Because I dialed it back to 5 watts, and now I'm up to 6 watts input, and so let me let it drop. Anyhow, I had a great time. Actually, I had schedules messed up. I actually had more time to work that contest last weekend, and I'm not a big contester. I'm not trying to, I'm more into quality than quantity, but yeah, I had more time than I thought I would to work that contest and grab those contacts down south of the equator and halfway around the world. That's what's fun to me. And anyway, thank you, Sammy. You have just a few words from you a couple of times has been really valuable, and I appreciate it, man. Love you and appreciate everything you've done for this club. I haven't been here long, but I always vote for you for favorite net controller. This is KI5OBD, back to net.
I think Rusty was thinking I had a ringer or two out there that kept voting for me. Well, I appreciate that, man, the kind words and all. And, you know, if you know something about something somebody is talking about and you know, and you're not speculating, I just, you know, make sure they know. But any kind of amp like that, especially a solid state one, and, you know, you don't know what their quality control is like. You don't know what the real reading out coming out of your radio. You just got to find that sweet spot. And when you find that sweet spot, you know, you might be able to tweak it a little bit. But I've been reading up on that amp, and that thing should, PEP-wise, hit well over 300. So that's really interesting setup. And the radio you're talking on right now sounds really good as well. But, you know, if you love me so much, you got to quit beating me on Friday Night Trivia. Oh, well, that's another subject. I know we both do what we can. And thanks for the kind words. All right, anybody got anything out there this evening for Mr. OBD Scott? If you do, bring your call sign now.
KI5PZN.
Go ahead, Nesto.
Still have chewing my sandwich, but hey, Scott, good to hear you on the net. Two questions for you. Do you ever get on Southside Simplex, number one? And two, do you have an amp for 2 meters?
I don't get on Southside Simplex very often. I started to this week, but things intervened and I had to do other stuff. And no, I don't have a VHF amp. But I do pretty good with my Yaesu rig here, the 991A. Well, you have the same radio. It does 50 watts on VHF, UHF, and with my vertical, 25 feet up, I do pretty good into Austin. Anyhow, KI5OBD.
Right on. I was just, I recently raised the antenna up, and I've been joining the Southside Simplex. It's a lot of fun. I get to hear more people now, and I was just wondering, but yeah, man, thanks for sharing that info. KI5PZN, ActNet.
Well, that reminded me, I was going to say something about that KLM amp that my dad bought new in the 80s, and I've had for about 10 years, and it was one of those little tricky things. It wasn't supposed to be but 10 watts, to drive it with 10 watts, but it never worked great at 10 watts, but it worked fine at 12. So, 12 watts dead key, 160 watts, and it now resides over at Rod's house. I think he's having some issues with the circuit breaker on it. All right, anybody else got anything for Scott before we let him go?
5MWA.
Go ahead, Mike.
I gotta say, Scott, that chair has been just mesmerizing me all night long, especially when you had your arms up and it was like outlining your underarms. It was kind of cool.
Thanks, Mike. I get compliments on my chair. It does have some flair, doesn't it? This KI5OBD, back to net.
Guess we might have to get on there and look. Is it like James Bond or more like what's his name with I can't remember his name that did the Shag Me movies. Does it look like something like that?
Roger. It's a little more Austin Powers. You must get on the video chat. You have to see it to believe it. Cap out OBD back to net.
Oh, well, that's not the first comment I've heard about it. All right, anybody else got anything for Scott before we move on?
BBS.
Rusty.
Yeah, so I will second. I love the Friday Night Trivia Night, getting to stare at Scott's chair. It's like a Jesus Christ Superstar musical production and acid trip all in one. So, I love that. And I think, Scott, you're going to grow up to be like NDS. Like, your QSL card reminds me a lot of Rod. So how Rod is not like 700 pounds, I have no idea. But I love your QSL card, man. So that's my comment for the night, man. Good to hear you on the net. WZ5BBS.
Thanks, Rusty. We'll see you tomorrow. K5OBD.
All right, well, let me do an ID real quick here. This is N5TXR, and you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. Brought to you faithfully ever since 2015. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you do them every week, and in the entire history, I think it's been missed only twice. That's pretty dang good. That's what I call a big, heaping, steaming bowl of fine business. All right, next up on the list is Larry, N5LNO. Larry, how are you, man?
Well, I thought it was going to drop, but, oh, Sammy, man, it's good to hear your voice, buddy. I remember back in the day, man, when you were driving that truck from Houston to Canada, and you used to check in with us on your phone, and man, old Mike would be just tearing it up with you, buddy. I don't really know what's going on with you, but I know everything will work out all right for you. I just know it. So, but anyway, it's good to finally, put some of the faces. Ray and Jeffrey, I believe, was his name, or Gregory, Jeffrey, I think. Sorry, buddy. And look up there and see one of those WBs sticking up in the air about 30 feet. Yeah, one of these days I'm going to have 4 of them up and see how that works. But it was a good turnout. Everybody had a good time, and that's all I got for the net. And it's good to hear you, buddy. N5LNO.
First of all, thank you. Second of all, I talked to Mike not too long ago on the phone. He actually gets on echo on the Oak every once in a while, but, we had all those problems there for a while. Haven't heard him, but he was asking about you. I told him that big old radio plantation you're making out there. And I'm moving out your way. I'm sure you've seen Sonny's RV park in Lexington. That's where I'm moving to.
Oh, my Lord. My fifth wheel was in there at one time. That's pretty crazy. Well, what we can do is Lexington's got some pretty good sized trees. What we can do is camouflage. Put you a Diamond X510 up there. Pull it up into them trees. They're fiberglass, so whoop-de-doo. Trees ain't gonna hurt nothing. And you ought to be able to hammer the machine. When I lived there, I was working on. I had wire antennas strung up around in those trees. Lady said, don't get anybody's TVs. I said, well, they'll be asleep by the time them old timers go to bed when the chickens do, you know. But yeah, well, shoot, man. Let me know when all that happens, and we'll see what we can't work, help you out, get where you can get in that, keep in touch with these guys. N5LNO.
Well, I still have a 11 element vertical Yagi. I just don't know if they're going to let me put it up. And I bought one of the original patent G5 RVs, the one with the little ballon on it. And I do have trees on my lot. And I've got a storage shed. And I'm going to be able to take my camper. And I was going to turn the camper into a little radio shack. I just don't know if there's enough room because they don't want anything like posts in the ground or anything like that. But somehow I'll get something up there. And I've got a vertical screwdriver that I'll mount on the side of my camper that'll work pretty good on 80 and 40 and such, 20 probably. So I'll have that at least. But yeah, man, that's where I'm going to be, up in the, kind of up in the back, where one of the best lots. I just lucked into one of the best lots in the park, and I got 3 trees out front. So something can be done, maybe. All right, anybody else got anything for Larry before we let him go?
K5BZI.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I just want to say, hey, Larry, man, it was nice making FaceTime with you on Saturday. It was good to see you. Well, Friday night, Saturday. It was good hanging out with you, man, and enjoyed chatting you up out there at Belton.
I did too, Ray. I was thinking, telling Sammy, and I forgot, but when you came back in there, I said, yeah, it's always, nobody ever looks like you expect them on the radio. I learned that a long time ago, but I didn't, Sammy, I didn't, they didn't back up when they saw me, so I didn't scare them to death.
Well, it's good there wasn't no mishaps then.
It's good to see you too, Ray.
All right, anybody else got anything for Larry before we let him go? Hi, Larry. Good to hear you, man. I'll be talking to you on the 147.22 machine, I'm sure. All right, next up is Stephen, KI5KAT. Stephen, you still with us?
Yeah, how do I sound?
Oh, a little loud, a little noisy, but we hear you.
Alright, so yeah, this whole final net thing, yeah, I'm gonna have to say a piece.
Sorry.
Thing that I'm going to have to say is I wish that my father was still around to see your final net. He really thought highly of you and was an inspiration. You kind of inspired him to continue his radio stuff, so thank you.
Well, that's good to hear, man. He's probably sitting back somewhere up there and looking down and listening. Ain't no telling, you know. Heaven is what you think it is, I'm pretty sure. Whatever you think it is what it is, and he's probably up there listening. Maybe on one of them unauthorized recordings that we've heard so much about. But I do miss him jumping in there and answering the trivia questions, beating everybody to the key. And I hope you're doing all right. All right, anybody got anything for Stephen out there this evening?
Stepped on you through most of that transmission.
I'm sorry. You did? If you did, go ahead.
No, I don't know. I'm not sure. It was just very quick key. Everything's good? Okay, cool. Thanks, Anderson.
Well, I thought you were done, and I was talking about your dad and all that, and it was really good to hear that. But I don't know if I was walking on you or not.
Doesn't matter.
If you didn't hear me, it does. Two-way street, man. And I was just saying that I miss him jumping in there answering the trivia questions and beating everybody to the punch, and it's glad to hear that I in some way inspired him to get on and bug you. And he's probably sitting somewhere in the easy chair listening to us now. So I hope you're doing all right, and thanks for checking in. Anybody got anything for Stephen before we move on? Hi, Stephen. Thanks for checking in, man. Good to hear you on. All right, next up is Kent, Trivia Master. KI5RBT. Kent, are you still awake?
Yeah, I am, Sammy. I just wanted to say, I think you were the very first person I actually had a conversation with on the repeater, so you would have been my first contact ever. Hope everything's well with you and wherever you're headed with your RV. So I just want to say, don't be a stranger. This is, we're always here waiting to hear from you and love to hear from you. And I was happily surprised to see that you were running the net tonight. KI5RBT.
Well, I appreciate it, Kent. Yeah, I just don't know what it's going to bring. When you're not even sure about the internet, you can't really, count on anything except RF, and I just don't know what it's going to be like, whether, and I don't want to, on my first month or two there, throw up all kinds of aluminum and, say, well, it's attached to my trailer. I don't want to get in a bunch fight with them, but yeah, I'll try to. I do have a real nice 96-inch diamond mobile 2-meter antenna that I was going to set up on top of the metal building, and I wondered how well I could do with that, but I got a few things I can try, and we'll see. I just don't know, but hopefully I'll figure something out and be able to talk to you fellas and bug you on the trivia net when you're trying to wipe out everybody. All right, anybody got anything for Kent this evening? If you do, bring me a call sign now. All right, Kent, good to hear you. You could take a Friday off sometime and let OBD and some of us catch up a little bit so it doesn't look so bad, but that's just a thought in passing. Next up was AG5SJ Micah, and he said no traffic at the time, but I want to check and see. Micah, are you still with us, and would you like the floor for a minute? All right. Well, I just wanted to check because I enjoy talking to Micah. This is Empire TXR, and you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. Brought to you every Thursday night on these same frequencies, the N508K and associated systems. And next up was Aaron, AI5HP. So is everybody calling you Hewlett Packard or what?
Does anybody call me a what now?
Hewlett Packard.
Oh, Hewlett Packard. Oh, yeah. Artificial Intelligence 5, Hewlett Packard. There you go. Yeah, this is AI5HP. Yeah, thanks, Sammy. Thanks for running the net. I think this is probably the first time. I ain't been on the net too long, or I should say this repeater. I got my license in May, but I'm glad to be checking in to the net that you're running tonight. So thanks. So yeah, as far as what I've got going on, actually, since we're talking about Friday Night Trivia, Kent's on. I think last week I was having technical difficulties with my browser trying to get in there, and so I had my son Matt sign in on his computer, and he signed in with his own call sign Matt KI5VND, and lo and behold, we got second place, which is proof that all the scores that I got previously were actually due to him and the XYL all this time. I can't really claim credit for coming in, second and third all those other times. Obviously, I didn't come in first because Kent, but yeah. So now the truth comes out that it's Matt all along. Let me let it stop here. So I managed to listen for the first time this week on some of the DMR nets that Rusty mentioned earlier, and that was interesting. I also figured out what people were saying when they said, "Oh, they don't like the way the voice sounds on those digital nets." I finally figured out what they were talking about. Yeah, that's kind of off-putting, I guess, at first. But either way, it's still kind of cool just discovering these different features, technologies, etc. that we've got, and it's great that the N50 provides that service to hooking up to those nets. I'm not really able to invest much into the radio money-wise at this point. As y'all might have heard me mention before. We got a rabbit this year too, and it's about the time now for her to get spayed because she's been starting to act like a wild teenager, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna have to take care of that before I can look into expanding my radio equipment. I've been singing as of late. All my money goes to my bunny. That's it for me. Back to Net Control AI5HP.
Well, I was going to ask you. I thought you said bunny, but I wasn't sure. But now I know. So thanks for mentioning it again. Well, whatever you're on now sounds pretty good, and you're making it into the repeater really well. So some of the best audio tonight, in fact. All right, anybody got anything for Aaron out there this evening? If you do, bring me a call sign now. All righty, well, Aaron, we appreciate you coming by, man. Good to hear you on. And I didn't even think about the artificial intelligence. I was just looking at my scribbling and saw the HP. Because I'm an HP user. I won't say fan, but I do have like 3 or 4 of them, so I'm well acquainted. All right, let's see who's next up on the list. Let me run down here and check. Oh, it is Anderson, KI5NLK. Anderson, it's your turn.
Well, hey there, Sammy. Yeah, 5NLK. It's my turn. I got to jump in. Got to say something. But I don't really have a whole lot. I didn't get to go to Belton. Didn't get to do much on the radio. I keep talking to people in the afternoons on the way home, and that's always pleasing. There's always good conversation to be had, whether it's Ernesto or Rusty or Mike or any of the other guys. But sad to hear that you're saying it's your last one. I'm with everybody else. I don't believe it. So I'll expect to hear you some more doing nests. Let me know to drop. But I do have to admit to you, by the way, Sammy, I don't ever vote for you on the trivia as the best net operator because I know you're going to get other votes, so I vote for somebody else who I think they're not going to get very many votes, like Ray or somebody who might get, like a goose egg. So I am just messing with you a little bit. But yeah, nothing real radio stuff going on for me. Just the same old. Back to net control.
Oh, I was laughing about it because most time I vote for Ray. But, he is the most valuable net control operator of all time. So, I do vote for him occasionally. And, not too long ago, I even put a vote in there for Rick, believe it or not. And it even surprised him. So, you never know about that voting. Well, Rusty knows, but he's the only one. Well, it's good to hear you on. All right, anybody got anything for Anderson out there this evening? I got a feeling that somebody might. If you do, give me a call sign now.
BBS.
As I expected. Go ahead, sir.
Don't let him lie to you. He'd have to get on trivia and play in order to vote for you. And he hadn't played trivia in like months. So, yeah, take some of that. It's good to hear you back on the Slacker chat, though, Anderson. It's nice to have you around. Nice to see that you still love us. So, thanks for checking in tonight. It's always a pleasure. WZ5BBS.
Yeah, for sure, Rusty. And I'll get on trivia. I've been away on the weekends lately. KF, I've been okay. Back to you, Sammy. Back to net control.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you voting for me. Protest vote or not. But you know what that gets you, them protest votes. I won't mention, but that'll get you. All right, anybody else got anything for Anderson out there before we move on?
KI5MVF.
Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Yeah, Anderson, I was just going to see if I could peer pressure you into doing some fox hunting this weekend. I feel like I haven't seen your name out there in a while. You were doing it a good bit in the beginning. You keep talking about this quote-unquote being away on the weekend. Don't know what that means, but remember when you were driving around all fancy with your SDR and your GPS stuff, and yeah, haven't seen you out there in a while.
Well, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I will be here this weekend, and I will still not be fox hunting because I have about 4 posts that I got to set for a gate, and it's going to take me all of my strength, and I'll be beat at the end of it and sit back drinking beer. So I'll probably, I don't know, maybe I'll fox hunt. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, well, if I hear you on the radio tomorrow, I'll be sure to peer pressure you again then as well. KI5MVF, back to that.
All right. Well, I figured somebody wants to say something to Anderson. Just they talks about you all the time. Anybody else got anything for Anderson? All right, man. Well, thanks for checking in. Let's see here. I got time for one more. Let's see, who's next? Oh, it's Sam, AI5IR. Sam, are you still with us?
IR, am I coming through okay?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'm Sam from Austin. I was also in Belton this weekend, like many of you, and I got tested for my license while I was there. So got my license earlier this week, made first contact with Rusty that night, and this is my first net. So thanks everyone for the warm welcome so far. This is AI5IR, back to net control.
So I think somebody's already mentioned you to me. I don't know, maybe they said you went down and took your technician and walked out with an extra class. Is that true?
Long, and it happened.
Well, congratulations on that. I tell you, when they gave me that free extra after I took my general, I laughed most of the way through it, and I've never taken it again. But that's doing something. In fact, somebody told me about it. I don't know who it was. Somebody mentioned it to me. But that is a big old bowl of fine business. So anybody got anything for Sam out there on his first net, his first week? If you do, bring me a call sign down.
BBS.
Go ahead.
Hey Sam, just wanted to officially welcome you to the club on the Thursday night net, and I was very excited that you took me up on the 3 a.m. offer, and that I was your first contact on the repeater. That was very cool. So, welcome to the club. You are definitely smarter than I with the 3 tests in one. Sam's also making cornbread for everybody out there who hasn't signed up for the potluck. So the new guy has already signed up and is bringing stuff to the potluck, not shaming all you old folks. But good to have you here, man. Nice to have you on the Discord, and I look forward to meeting you at the park. WZ5 BBS.
Go ahead, Sam, if you want to.
Looking forward to meeting you at the park as well.
Not sure how you're accessing the repeater system, but when you key up, we hear a little click, and it cuts off a couple of your syllables, just so you're aware of it. All right, anybody else got anything for Sam before we move on?
This is KG5 KVJ.
Go ahead, Garrett.
I want to say congratulations on getting your amateur extra there in one shot. Super envious. It also sounds like something you'd find in the red light district. You go there for one thing and leave there with a couple extra things you weren't expecting. KG5 KVJ BestNet.
Intelligent infrared. That'll be the AI makeup.
Infrared district, that is. Anybody else got anything for Sam?
K5BZN.
BZI and somebody else. BZI, go ahead.
Hey Sam, I just wanted to say congratulations, man. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the net. And it was nice meeting you out there at Belton. I'm glad you stopped by and introduced yourself. And that's kind of cool. Got to meet you even before you had a call. So anyhow, man, that's great stuff. Passing all 3 tests at once. That's awesome. Makes me realize that I need to get off the ball here or get on the ball. I don't know how you say it, but get my extra done. But anyway, man, thanks for stopping by the tent on Saturday. It was nice to make your acquaintance, sir, and welcome to the club. K5BZI.
The first half of my life, and looking forward to meeting you in the second half of the potluck, hopefully. Nothing wrong with not having your extra. See you around.
Well, Ray and I have been doing this since the 80s. And I don't know about Ray, but I know I'll never be an extra. But maybe if they still had the advanced class, which is what your call used to be, is an advanced call, the 2x2. But now they're giving them the extras. But it's a pretty cool call. All right, let me see one more time if anybody's got anything for Sam before we move on. I guess you don't want to give up the recipe, right?
I think, Sammy, we've lost contact with the 441775 because I didn't hear anything from Rod.
Well, I know 325 is still simulcasting. Let me look here.
320 and 775 are live. I think that might be on Kyle's system.
I turned on my 900 megahertz, which is pointed to Kyle's system, and I couldn't hear him on there either.
775, and I heard everything he said. Anyway, maybe you scared him with the Yankee cornbread there, Rod. But maybe he's making some sweet yellow cornbread. Go ahead. I think it's Sam back. Was that what I heard? We're hearing the same thing when you key up, that same little popping, but the audio's not translating now. All we heard was a little bit of part of a syllable.
Could be the battery dying and 5 SMO.
I will listen for you. Feel free to jump back in if you want to talk to anybody. That's the end of my list here. Let me ID and we'll see if anybody else wants to get in here. This is N5TXR, and you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. Here on the N5 OAK and Associated Sometimes Systems. And we have reached the end of our first round of regular check-in. So, if anybody else wants to check in or recheck or anything like that, bring me a call sign now.
This is N5 SMO, Bill.
Bill, I think I'm going to put you down as a recheck. I'll do that. And I'll take you off the other end up there. So now you're on the good list. All right, anybody else want to check in for this second round of regular check-ins?
This is KC3 NAG Randy coming in on the flagship 320.
Good evening, Randy. I knew it was you on your This Is. All right, anybody else want to join us on this second round of regular check-ins?
This is W5KEX, Lance in East Austin.
Lance, I'm having a hard time getting used to that. I don't know, it just seems like it's foreign. I'll get used to it, though. No big deal. All right, anybody else want to join us on this second round of regular check-ins? Please bring your call sign now.
So this is Kilowatt 5, Barbara, Zebra, India. Bad zebra incident. Bourbon Zero Ice. K5BZI.
Huh. I thought you would have some better ones by now. Might need to ask Allie for some help. All right, anybody else want to check in on this second round of regular check-ins? I'll let that sink in for him, Rod. All right, anybody else want to join us on this second round of regular check-ins? If you do, bring me a call sign. All righty, well, let's go to the top of this list. And, Bill, if you stayed up this late, you probably got something to say. It's your turn to do it.
Yeah, thanks, Sammy. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done for the club over the years. You were the first guy that, you and Mikey were the first guys I ever talked to on the repeater and got me to come to the net. And with you and Mike and Chris and Ray and Sam and, you know, those are the guys that kept me coming back. And it's been a great bunch of friends, man. I really appreciate what you've done. And Ray, hey man, I went by your trailer there in your camper before Belton when I was waiting to get in, before I got in line to get in, and then again when I came out after going through it, you guys still weren't up. So sorry I missed you, man. I wanted to really drop by there and say hi, but I didn't see anybody around before I left to go home and play with my new toy. But that's all I wanted to say. So I'll turn it back over to you and the net from N5SLO.
Tell us again the deal that you made. I can't remember his name. I've talked to him 2 or 3 times. The guy from Main Trading Company. Tell us again what kind of deal you got.
Well, I mean, I had the radios listed for here at SwapNet, you know, but they were only up there about 10 days before the Hamfest. But they have a thing where you can get a quote on a trade on their website, and you just kind of fill in the info. And I sent them in, and I put what I wanted for them, what I was asking to sell it for here in the club, and they gave me that money for a trade-in against the 7610. So, I mean, I was happy. And he knocked another $50 off of it because he brought it to the show and didn't have to ship it. So it was a win-win for everybody there.
That's good. I didn't know. I don't think I've heard anybody say that they bought and did trade-ins with, and especially not pay what you wanted for them. That is a big steaming bowl, man. Well, I'm glad that worked out. All right, anybody got anything for Bill out there this evening? And Bill, thanks for the flowers. Anybody got anything for Bill? Bring the call sign now.
K5BZI.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, so Bill, I have to blame that on KAT because he convinced me on Friday night to put up my HF antenna, and that turned into an all-nighter on HF. And, you know, when you're doing an all-nighter on HF, there's plenty of beer involved with that. So Jason and I were up till about 3 o'clock in the morning Friday night. But we did make contact with the guy in France on sideband on 20 meters, and that was pretty cool. And, of course, I checked into the Triple H net on 80. Good times on HF. You know, it's hard to not stay up all night doing radio when I'm in that camper. It's just too easy. Back to that K5BZI.
Well, yeah, I completely understand. And man, it's a great hobby for insomniacs because I do it all the time myself. And 5SMO.
What is this? Something beeping in my ear? That scared an old man. Bill, a girl asked me yesterday that little old ramp piece that you built on my front door. One of Leslie's PT people or something. Oh, that's cute. Did you do that? I said, no, that's a buddy of mine. Old Schmo did that.
Yeah, that's super easy to do that. If they're looking for someone, just give me some contact info or give them my contact info.
Well, I'll have you know that I was not looking forward to calling you up and begging you to build me a a ramp and a landing out at the new place. But a guy that was in the lot that I'm in now was planning on coming back, but he had some issues and decided he wasn't coming back, so I bought this whole setup he had. It's like a 8x8 landing with a 24-foot ramp and stairs, and it's all entreated, most of it 2x6, a lot of it's 4x4, all the posts. Built really well, and he made me a deal on that, and a little metal storage shed. So I just bought all this stuff from him and then moved my trailer into his lot, and I'm all set up now.
Well, that's good the way that all worked out there. And I'm sure you'll get some kind of antenna going up there at some point, and to get back here onto the net, I just see that happening. There's enough people there around that it's going to make it happen.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. Chris and I have already talked about internet, and you know those websites you go on to tells you about the coverages of certain companies. Well, AT&T supposedly has coverage 100% of Lexington. 100% of households can use AT&T. So we're thinking maybe I could set up one of those little receiver and get an AT&T data plan and do it that way, but won't know until I do it. So that'll probably be the first way I'll be able to get back in after I get my All-Star node set back up and all that. But I'll let you know. All right, anybody else got anything for Bill before we move on? All right, Bill. Appreciate you stopping by. All right, next is Randy, KC3NAG. Randy, how in the world are you?
Oh, hey there, Sammy. How you doing? Nice to hear you. I hear you once in a while, but I never get a chance to chat with you. But, I was just going to say, no doubt you get some antennas up. And I think, I understand, scooping everything out first, of course. But, I know a lot of guys on the radio who live in pretty bad HOAs. And after the big ice storm a couple winters ago, they just went in and say, hey, I want to put some antennas up, but I can also, do some communication, nothing else works. And they're like, yeah, okay, no worries. So that worked for a lot of people. One other quick thing, did Ray say his nephew Cody passed his tech license? Is that correct?
That is correct. You can ask him yourself, Ray.
Yes, sir. He passed it yesterday and is waiting for the letters and numbers to come back. Pretty cool. I'm super excited for him. Proud of him.
Okay, really cool. And congratulations there, Cody. And I think the deal was, if Cody passed, didn't Ellie, have to also take her test?
Yeah, she actually mentioned something about that the other day. When she found out, she's like, oh, man, he's making me look bad. And I was like, yeah, that's right. It's time for you to pass it now, too. So we'll work on her. We'll get her there one of these days.
Okay, I really wanted to say congrats to Cody there. So back to you, Sammy. No doubt you get some antennas up, man. I'm still slacking, don't have 80 meters up, but, hey, you don't have anything up. Ooh, the tide has turned.
By the way, just real quick, since the last thing you said there, Randy, Cody is in fact listening to the live stream, and I saw him give it thumbs up, and you said congratulations to him, just so you know. All right, K5BZ.
I do still have some stuff up, but it won't be up for very long. And at the very least, I should be able to get my 40-meter bazooka up. I just don't know. I would love to get the 80-meter up because it works on so many bands. I could tune pretty much everything except 40. And not so well on 10. But everything else, yeah, I can get down to 1.3, 1.4 on that 80-meter double bazooka. But I was going to get something up. I did buy a new G5 RV. I don't know if I'm going to, and it does 80 meters, but I don't know. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to do it or not. But thanks for egging me on. Anybody out there got anything for Randy? If you do, give me a call sign now. Appreciate it, man. Always good to hear you on. This is N5TXR, and you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net on the N508K and Associated Systems. We are in the middle of our second round of radar check-ins. And next up on that list is W5KEX Lance. Lance, what's happening?
Good evening, sir, and good evening, Net. Not a lot to report. Just wanted to get in and get to say I got to talk to you on your last supposed net control night. But what you're doing is just setting yourself up for the next time you do it to get a bunch of grief from all of us. So looking forward to rubbing it in next time you come and be net control. It's been a busy week with CW, working with Jason, KB5, MPJ, just about nightly, about 45 minutes to an hour a night, late at night, and that has done a world of good for both of us. Besides working solo, doing testing myself, actually talking, receiving and sending makes a big difference. So I'll just be keeping up at that and sending it back to you. Thanks a lot, Sammy. W5KEX.
Well, that there Jason, he's a radio man. That doesn't surprise me that y'all do that as much as you do, and it makes me feel good about the what's left, or the history, or the further history, or the new history of amateur radio. All right, anybody got anything for Lance out there this evening? If you do, bring me a call sign now.
BBS.
Go ahead, Rusty.
It's not really for Lance, it's really for you. We can't have to check into anything. He won't come say hi to nothing, so, congratulations on getting W5KEX to come around and say hi. Have a good night, Lance. WZ5VBS.
Dang it.
Is this true, Lance?
Well, I would say sometimes I definitely get a little. Anytime I check in, the kiddos call me in, so I don't always check in until the very last. But I checked in last week, so I'm afraid BBS is a little faulty on his statistics there. But I will have to say, I do not get to check in on the Thursday night nearly as much as I would like to.
I may or may not have been drinking, so that comment might be correct. WZ5BBS.
Imagine that. Well, what you and MPJ are up to on learning code and everything, that you're living up to the motto of the club. Advancing the art of amateur radio while preserving its past. So, that is a big steaming bowl of fine business. All right, anybody else got anything for Lance before we let him go? All right, Lance, good to hear you, man. And keep it all up. All right, next on the list. Ray, you may see if there's anybody else wants to check in before get to you last so you could do the net rundown.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Let me see if there's anybody out there that's been waiting to get in or just stumbled across and wants to get in. On this final round, it looks like, of regular check-ins. If you do, bring me that call sign now.
This is KI5VND, Matt and Buda, no traffic.
Matt, my volume's turned down. Give me the last three again phonetically.
Victor, November, Delta.
All right, man. Well, thanks for checking in. Got you in there. No traffic. Good to hear you. Are you going to, is this your first time on the net or near your first time or something along those lines?
I've checked in once or twice before, but it's mainly my father, AI5HP, that checks in.
Oh, you're Packard's boy. Okay. Yeah, you're the trivia buff. That helps him out. I got it now. I should have remembered it when he said that. All right, anybody else want to check in for this final round? Regular check-ins.
This is Kilo India 5, Kilo Sierra Romeo. Steve at the Bastrop.
WB5TXW.
I got Steve, I got you in there. KSR, I believe it was. And George, I got you in there. Anybody else?
Kilo Echo 5, Romeo Sierra.
Hello, John. Got you in there. And there's another station that keyed up right there at the same time with John. All right, I got you checked in. You want to do a recheck? All right, well, hang in there. Well, I got you written down there. I'm gonna draw a little line over here. All right, anybody else want to check in with this final round of regular check-ins? All right, well, let me get to these guys, and we'll run through them real quick. First was Matt, KI5 Victor November Delta. That's HP's offspring, and he had no traffic. Next was Steve, KI5 KSR. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve.
No, you're not wrong. I didn't have a whole lot to bring tonight, but I heard you were calling this one of your last nets, and I just wanted to say thanks for everything you've done over the years, I guess. You were one of the first voices I heard when I picked up an amateur radio, and you've absolutely inspired me to seek out new things and to learn new stuff. And I just want to say thanks, man. It's been great hearing you for years, and I'm sure we'll hear you again. So that's about all I got right now. This is KI5KSR. Back to net.
It really does make me feel good when people tell me, hey, I listened to you and Mikey on y'all were arguing on repeater, and I got a scanner and got interested. It does make me feel good, and I appreciate you saying so. All right, anybody got anything for Steve out there this evening? If you do, bring me a call sign down. Hi, Steve. We'll appreciate you coming by, and thank you for the kind words. Next up was George, WB5TXW. George, what's happening? What say you?
Hello, Sammy, and all around the net from WB5TXW in Crestview, Austin. Oh, I'm just up way too late, so thought I'd say hello. So, this isn't going to be your last net, and you know it. I've been all around the country, licensed for 46 years, I think, and it's easy to work portable. So you'll be there, or here, or somewhere. I've been doing more and more CW. I've been escaping phone on 75 meters. A lot of it seems to be poison lately. So, I'm having to get on W1AW and listen and learn, over.
That's good. I'm happy to hear so many guys are, wanting to get their CW wings. It makes me think that the hobby has a future. And, we'll just work out something. I'm going to have my vertical screwdriver, I probably told you about it before, is made in like the 80s, and an old ham, and he used like 12-gauge wire all the way through it, and it's about 3 inches on the bottom and 4 inches on top, and I'm going to put a 96-inch whip in it and see what I could do on 200 watts on 80 meters. So I'll holler at you on the 3916 one night, and we'll, after the Google net's over, we'll meet up somewhere on 80 meter.
Roger that. Well, I'll tell you what, you know my email. I have rigged up portable. You can, if you have an antenna tuner, 300, I can tell you any way to make an antenna, and I'm sure you know about this too. But it's not that difficult. So we'll just work on it. It can be done. So don't worry about that too much. I can tell you stories of what I've done with junk up in trees, so that's not a problem. Anyway, 7-3 to everybody all around, and this is WB5TXW back to net.
All right, George. Well, thanks for dropping by. Always good to hear you. Anybody out there got anything for George before we move on? All right, George. Appreciate it, man. We'll catch you somewhere out there on the bands. Next up was John, K5RS. And John, it sounds like you might be on Echo or some such. Are you still with us?
No, I'm on the Asterisk phone app, and we're mobile here in Barstow, California, northbound on 395, headed toward Lone Pine, Mount Whitney. Doing a little trip around a few of the states here. We'll be up in eventually Northern California here, and Montana, and South Dakota, and so forth. Trying to get a little trip in there and visit some people. But the audio doesn't sound very good.
It's decent. There's some road noise. I don't know if it would help any to turn the down, but are you using the DV switch, and are you talking into the phone, or do you have a headset?
Yeah, it's a DV switch, and I'm talking in the phone, to the phone. It's like in speaker mode too, so that's why it's picking up the background noise. I'll have to look into it and make some adjustments. I was going to try to use the clear node, and I got the clear node running, but the HT battery is dead. So when I picked the HT up to try to do that, that would have been real cool to be doing, using the HT here in the mobile and connected and all, but bummer the battery's dead right now and can't get to the back in the situation right now to get another battery for it right now. But I thought I might see if you guys were on and try to check in the net anyways. Back to you, KE5RS.
Well, if I'd known you was mobile, I'd have moved you to the front, but you'll probably have service with it. But there's a little bit of what you just referred to as packet loss on that last transmission, but not enough that we didn't understand what you were saying. And if you want up the 395, are you going all the way up into Carson City and all that?
No, Tioga Pass, go down into the valley floor.
Yep, I've made that trip a few times, and it can get hot. And I was going to say, nobody's ever lost anything in Barstow, so. But it's good to hear you on. And it sounds like y'all got a quiet trip. I heard you talking about it a little bit last week or something, but it sounds like y'all got a good plan and a good trip. Anybody got anything for John out there this evening over there on his way up to Death Valley? All right, John. Well, thanks for hanging out and checking in with us. And y'all have fun and be careful. We'll see you next time. All right, that's the end of the list. Let me double check and see if anybody else wants to check in.
Whiskey 5, Golf Charlie Hotel, Ron and Driftwood.
Hey, Ron. How are you, man?
Well, I'm doing great. Yeah, sorry about missing your net mostly tonight. I thought I would see if there's anybody still on the radio, and you're still chatting away, so I thought I would chime in. Yeah, I used to work out there in the Barstow to Death Valley and down to Edwards Air Force Base is where I was based for about a year, I guess, and working on the F-16 program for General Dynamics. But fond memories back in about 1974, 75. Anyway, yeah, just staying cool tonight, not doing too much. So back to net control, W5GCH.
Well, man, you was on the early days of the 16 then. I've got a pen here, well, a writing pen and a lapel pen that my dad got for the F-16. And you know how when a project ends and they all take the picture and all that, I've got all that stuff over here. I got it from him. And, if you're going to California and you really want to find out what it's about, that part of the world there, that's the best way to do it. And just go up 395. And then if you want to see all the other stuff, you can still go down there and see it. But it is kind of surreal down there. And the shadows always look funny to me. And my grandfather did time out there at General Dynamics, Lancaster. That was a little earlier than that, though. But good to hear you on. Anybody else got anything for Ron out there? If you do, bring me a call sign now. All right, Ron, good to hear you, man. Glad you was able to check in. Anybody else want to check in before we move over to Reverend Ray? I drew the squiggly line, but Ron came in there and messed up my squiggly line, and I almost forgot about you. But go ahead, Ron.
Sammy, did you hear Ron there?
Yeah, Ray, I did hear him. I heard him completely. He was giving a shout out to Cody.
I did not hear Cody.
He wasn't talking to Cody. He was telling Ray he was giving Cody a shout out and congratulations type thing.
Let's talk about Ron, GCH Ron.
I said Rod. No, I heard Rod, but I did not hear Rod. Did Ron say something else?
Yeah, he was talking, and you were doubling with him, but he was winning the double. So there you go.
Well, Ron, I apologize, man. Go ahead if you got something else.
Yeah, Sammy, I was just commenting that I was out there during the flight test program, and at that point they were still trying to decide if the F-16 would even go into full production or not. So I was part of that program. W5GCH.
It's very cool, Beans. That was an outstanding little plane, and I'm sure a lot of people still flying it. And back to Rod. Ray, did you hear what Rod was saying to Cody?
That's a big negative, sir. We do not have a connection to the 441-775 over here on the 320.
That's what I'm on.
You're on the 320?
I'm on the 775. Which one is not working?
Okay. What's he on then? Because it's not making it to the 320.
Rod is on the 775.
Well, I'm not hearing him.
If he went into Studio B. Rod, what are you talking on?
Am I the only one not hearing him?
No, you may not be. I just looked while he was talking. Rod, you may be on direct.
Oh, he's got the radio on Simplex.
About now.
You hear him, Ray?
I did, but he didn't hold the repeater.
That was it, Rod. You were on direct, and Ray wasn't hearing you. but I'm so close, I was hearing everything he said.
This Kenwood radio is complicated. I was hearing, I got two speakers over here. I was hearing you through the internal speaker, Sammy, and I got a Motorola speaker here that sounds it's a lot bigger. And I was thought I was hearing the repeater through the Motorola speaker. You hear me now, Ray?
Hello, Rod. You sound great, man. Thank you for getting on offset there.
Just playing with the buttons. I want to send a shout out to Cody if he's still listening out there for getting his license. He was and acknowledged that he was one of the rope pullers in the antenna erection project that you carried out here a few weeks back. W5NDS.
Yeah, thanks for that, Rod. Yeah, he's with us on video here, and he's throwing you a big heart symbol. So hopefully, unfortunately, I'm going to be out in New Orleans this weekend. I've already got all the gear for him, but I won't be able to get it out to him and get it all set up for him until or at least middle of next week, if not next weekend. So hopefully I did get a good test out though, using that 13-element 2-meter beam at Belton. I'm going to give him one of those, and he's not too much further. As far as the crow flies, he's about the same distance as I was out in Belton, so I think he'll be able to get into the oak just fine from there. So, anywho, thanks for that shout out, man, and it's good to hear you. K5BZI, back to net.
Your 7-3s, Ray. W5NDS clear, and now repeating.
That's probably why I didn't hear Ron earlier, because I was listening to Rod, and he was like full quiet, like he was going through a repeater. And then when you said that, the first time I thought, nah, because he's hearing but then I thought, oh, he may be on direct. Anyway, because he was hearing the repeater just as well as he was getting into it to me. Anyway, glad we got that all figured out. All right, anybody else want to check in on this final check-in of regular check-ins on this net this evening? All righty then. Well, I really appreciate everybody coming by and hanging out with us. And I'm going to turn it over to Reverend Ray, and he's going to give you a rundown of all the nets and subsidiary nets around town and around our club, and run it all down for you before I come back and say good night. So, with that, I'll turn it over to the very capable hands of Ray. K5BZI.
I don't get to check in, man?
You're checked in. You're checked in. I just put you up the list so I could get to the others before I got to you.
Well, I would just like to shout out to you as well for being there, and I definitely agree with everyone else that this is not going to be your last net. And I'd just like to say, yeah, I think the first time I heard you, I was driving down the road in my truck and reached down and turned the radio on, and I heard your voice. I thought I'd turned my CV on. Then I realized that you work as a truck driver for a living, and that explained that voice. So anyway, it's always good to hear that voice on the air, man. We'll definitely miss you, and we got to get you set up so you can get in. And something else I was going to say and I done forgot. But anywho's, yeah. Oh, I know what it was. Belton was a blast. I'm definitely taking the camper there and camping in the parking lot every time from now on, if I can make it that weekend. There were a lot of folks camped out, and it was definitely a lot of fun. So you guys, if you've never been to Belton, you should definitely go. And if you can make it on Friday, by the way, I had never realized the extent of the parking lot flea market on Friday, but that sucker, man, we got there at like 6 o'clock, and it was already all packed. They'd been going all day. There were tables set up on 3 different rows, and you know, they had been going since midday. So Belton is not just Saturday morning; it's all day Friday apparently in the parking lot, and then Saturday morning, of course. But it was fun. There was a lot out there. Between Jeffrey and I selling stuff that we've acquired from Silent Keys over the last year or so, we've made $120 for the club. So that was cool. And thanks to everybody who's probably can't hear me, but who bought our stuff and donated to the club in that way. So that was cool. And I came home with a couple more military aircraft radios. So I'm pretty excited about that. And that's all I have. Does anyone have any comments for Ray, K5BZI? Come now with your name and call sign.
KF5OBD.
Yeah, Scott, what's up?
I want to see these new aircraft radios. Those are awesome. I'm such a history guy, and can I come over? That is, I love history and, especially, World War II era and the radios. Winter Field Day last year, that was great. I want to see that. KF5OBD.
Well, first of all, you're welcome to my shack anytime, Scott. And secondly, I'm going to see, what is it? Oh, geez, it's already middle of October. Yeah, I'm going to try to get this ART-13 actually operational so that we'll have a full transmit receive capability in the tent this year at Winterfield Day. So I'll be bringing them out again this year. So yeah, be there.
I don't have to work tomorrow.
Come on, man.
I'll message you. KF5OBD.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, anytime, man. I work from home, so anytime you want to stop by and check out the shack, you're welcome too. Anybody else?
KEX.
Yeah, what's up, Lance?
I just wanted to throw in, I did not realize that Cody with no call sign is your nephew, so that's very cool. He's in good hands, and I wished him well on Discord, but want to say congratulations over the radio. So good deal. That's great. So welcome to the club.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, he's giving you the heart symbol as well. I've got him a 50-watt 2-meter radio and power supply and a big old 13-element 2-meter beam and a rotator. So he's right there and clean. So he ought to be able to hit the Oak, I know for sure, because we did it from Belton. And I'm thinking he might be able to spin that thing north and hit the Dallas repeaters too. So I can try to get out there in the next couple of weeks and get him all set up.
Well, good deal. Back to net control, man.
All right. Anybody else have anything for K5BZI before Sammy lets him go tonight?
Check in.
Hey, I'll put you on the log there. KC5IHO.
This is my last transmission to or from Manchaca or Mankaka before I tear it all down.
Yeah, Roger, man. It's actually Sammy's net, but I'll let you. I've got you on the log. I'm net logging for him. So, Sammy, write down KC5IHO. He's checked in. Jason from Manchac Road and Ben White for the last time. Tell us where you're moving to, Jay.
Kyle, proper, downtown.
Roger, man. Well, let me know when you're ready to put that tower in the ground, bro, because we'll get you set up.
Yes, sir. Just figured I'd check in before I tore it all down because I think maybe this weekend it's all coming down. Yeah.
Hey, so Cody passed his tech license yesterday.
No, nice.
Yeah, it takes a couple days for the call sign to come through, so we're waiting on that.
Yeah, no, perfect.
Alrighty. Well, anybody got anything for Jason before I let him go? KC5IHO is checked in.
If anyone knows about Kyle Tower regulations, please let me know. Please.
Anybody have any insight on that? Okay. Well, Sammy, you got anything else, or should I go ahead and give the net rundown?
You can go ahead and give that there net rundown, and I got Jason added in on my log here. Then I'll come back and close out the net.
Roger that. Well, guys, if you haven't already checked out the website, n50ak.org is our website, and there is a Nets tab, there's a weekly Nets tab there that you can go check and get whatever's going on that day or the next couple of days, but I will give you the rundown audibly now. Every Sunday at 3 p.m. there's a 10-meter net hosted by the Austin Amateur Radio Club, and that 10-meter net that happens at 3 p.m. on Sundays is at 28.410 upper sideband. So go say hi to Rod and the guys at the AARC on 10 meters on Sundays at 3 p.m. And then Sunday evenings at 7:30 p.m. or is it 8 p.m.? 7:30 p.m. There is the weekly rundown net hosted by Ernesto and Maria. Go check them out. It is on this repeater network, the Oak repeater network, which is also at the time connected to the KA5D system. And you can find out repeater frequencies for that system by going to ka5d.com and looking at the repeaters tab there. And they're mostly located central or north. So if you're down south, you're going to want to try to check us out on either the 320 machine 147-320 here, or the Oak backup repeater, which is out in the Johnson City area at 147.250, both of which have a tone of 114.8. Monday nights, we like to get on 6 meters at 8 p.m. The OHARC Thursday. I am just tripping over my tongue tonight. The Monday night 6-meter net, Monday nights at 8. It starts off on 50.125 sideband, and then from there it's known to go different modes, different frequencies. It's a good way to try out your 6-meter gear and see how your setup is functioning on 6 meters. And like I say, they like to change frequencies and change modes to try out every aspect of it. So go check out Rick AI5 Alpha and the guys on Monday nights at 8 p.m. on 6 meters. It's been kind of quiet lately, but a lot of that can probably be contributed to the fact that we're not exactly in 6-meter season. So next spring it ought to get better. But you never know. That's why they call it the Magic Band. It'll open just randomly. So go try them out on Monday nights. Maybe it'll be a good night. Tuesday night, as was mentioned before, is what we call Southside Simplex. It's a 2-meter simplex gathering, kind of a rag chew session. It's loosely a net. It happens at 8 p.m. on Tuesday nights on 146.555. 146.555 every Tuesday night at 8. And right before that, there is a DMR check net that happens on our DMR machine over there on 441.300. So if you are downtown or north, you got to be able to get a pretty good signal on our DMR machine at 441.3. If you're down south, try it out. If you've got some altitude, you might be able to hit it okay, but it's not very high, and it's kind of tough for those of us who are in a hole down here in South Austin to hit it, myself included. But that's the DMR sound check net on Tuesday nights at 7:30, just before Southside Simplex. On Wednesdays is the UT Amateur Radio Club's net. It happens at 8 p.m. every Wednesday night. Great group of guys, those guys at the UT Amateur Radio Club, and Kyle, KA5D, hosts their net, although it is in fact connected to our system as well. So, as I mentioned before, you can find out the frequencies for the KA5D system at KA5D.com, but of course, if you're getting into the net tonight on our system, the N508K repeated network, you'll be just fine. So be sure to check out the guys at the UT Amateur Radio Club on Wednesday nights and give your support to that awesome club. Let's see, Thursday night, as you know, is the Thursday night net. The Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday night net happens every Thursday at 8 p.m. That's what you're listening to now. You never know who's going to be net control. We switch it up as often as we can. And tonight, Sammy's quote-unquote official last net, so you're lucky to have caught him. If it's not his last, it may be for a while. So every Thursday night here at 8 p.m. And, of course, before this net is the CW net. Pat, W5WTH, has been running that net now for a nice long time, and those guys are very, very welcoming and accommodating. You don't have to be very good or fast. You can even cheat if you want. Just jump in there on 3532, give or take, on the 80-meter band. And even if you are a technician class licensee, you have privileges on that portion of the band on CW. So go check in every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. at the CW net at give or take 3532. Friday night is the world-famous Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Trivia Net. It starts at 9 p.m. It's an online game, and you can access it by going to our website at n5oak.org and clicking on the Trivia Net tab. And go there at 8:30. There's a bingo game that gets started while everyone's jumping into the room there, so you can play a little bingo while you're waiting. And it's hosted by Rusty, WZ5BBS, with the occasional assistance of Ernesto, KI5PZN. The Trivia Net's a lot of fun if you've never joined it. You don't even have to be at a radio. You can. I've done it while sitting in a restaurant on my phone. So if you have access to your radio and to the audio feed, either through this net or through the KA system, it is a lot of fun to listen and contribute to the banter that goes on during the game. But again, you don't have to actually be able to hear it to play, and you don't have to install anything. It's all an online web browser thing. So go join Rusty and the gang on Friday night for trivia. It's a lot of fun. You'll be glad you did. And then Saturdays, if you are not a member of our Discord server, you should definitely join us on Discord because there's all kinds of things going on weekends. If it's not a fox hunt, it's a Parks on the Air activation or a Summits on the Air activation or now a social get-together. We're having a potluck coming up on a Saturday out at McKinney Falls State Park. You can find out about all those things by joining us on Discord or by checking out the calendar that Rusty is so good at keeping up to date on our website, n5oak.org. And by the way, as I mentioned Discord, if you're not on Discord, you can do that by clicking the big purple button at the website and asking to join. And that's about it for the net rundown this week. Sammy, great net, man. Thanks again for all the nets you've done and for all you've done for the club. Your voice will be missed, and hopefully we can get you back in here sooner than later. With that, this is K5BZI, and I'll turn it back over to you to shut her down. Have a great night, everyone.
This is
station, go ahead.
Kilo India 5, Hotel Mike Golf, KI5AG, Matt in South Austin.
I didn't have my pen ready. KI5, Hotel Mike Golf.
Yes, sir, that's the one.
Give me the name again, please.
Matt, and I am in South Austin.
Matt, you in there. I appreciate it. We were just about to shut everything down, but we'll see if what's going on with you. And I don't know if we've ever spoke, but I think I've heard the call, but I don't know. I could be. You know, I'm old. But how'd you hear of us and all that good stuff?
I've been around for a bit, but I actually haven't been on the air for a while. It's probably been a year, I would think. But I've heard you over the years, and we've spoken a few times, but like I said, I haven't been on the air in a while. But I was running an errand, and I happened to catch the net, and I heard it was your last net, so I figured I'd pop in and thank you for everything that you've done, and wish you well on your journeys. KI5HMG, back to net.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for dropping in. And yeah, I was thinking, you know, it was last year or sometime, but I talked to you. But you know how many mats we got? We got enough mats to choke a horse, so sometimes I have to be prodded to remember. But thank you for checking in. Anybody got anything for Matt before we end our net? All right, Matt, thanks so much. Let me check one more time, see if anybody else wants to get on this very last call. Regular check-in. If you do, bring me a call sign. All righty, nothing heard. Well, thank you, everyone, for coming by, and thanks for all the kind words. And, you know, when this all started up, if any were to look, you'd see that the person that created the member list was the first one on it, and then I was the second one. And then Chris, KB5TX, he was in the first bunch. So we've been through the whole thing, and I've enjoyed it quite immensely, and I appreciate all the kind words. And I want to thank everybody, that, especially those that came and saw me in the hospital and had good wishes for me. And some of them I don't even remember what shape I was in, but I know they were there, and I appreciate that very much. It meant a whole lot to me. So with that, I want to thank everybody, and just continuing on, and you're all in good hands, and I really appreciate all of you. So with that, I'm going to return it back to regular amateur radio use and say good night, 7-3 to all. Thanks a lot. N5T.
Good night, Sammy. Take care, man. WZ5DBS.
Yeah, I noticed that KA5D dropped, and I brought it back up. It looks like somebody's dropped it again.
Again, always, Sammy. Thanks again, KC5IHO.
Well, thanks, Jay. I hadn't heard you on in a while, man. And now you're moving to Kyle, man. We'll never see you again.
Look at the tower up again. You'll see my face always. Sometimes you love me, sometimes you don't. But it's all good, man. Good to hear you.
I'm doing all that moving myself, and I'm about to tear the rest of the shack down and pull out the rest of the coax and open it up in here, get some work done.
No, I mean, he got one tower for me, and I was like, okay, gotcha. But it was like, man, let's just go higher. I'm like, still got to get the little coax going, but it's all good.
No, Ray will take care of you. I kept waiting through the net to see if Cody's call sign came across the ULS, but I guess it never did.
He's got to pay that fee before they'll process it. He hasn't paid the fee yet.
Wow. Well, they'll slow down a little bit, but maybe you'll give them a chance to get a real cool call. I don't know how far up they are on the KI 5s. You might get a KJ 5.
Yeah, he locked himself out of the website today, so he's got to call tomorrow and have them reset his password.
Hey, who has a record player?
I have one.
Merle Haggard and Strangers. Songs I'll always sing.
I got some Merle Haggard in here, I think.
Hey man, it's a dual record.
5 MWA. Hey Ray, I just worked South Africa on 40 meters.
South Africa?
He's on 7153 right now, and I've got him a 5x7 on 40 meters.
I got to run in and check on Leslie. We had quite the day. a 5-hour trip to a doctor. But anyway, I'll be back out in a little bit. N5TXR.
Well, Scott, Mike, that's outside of my privilege range.
Oh, sounds like somebody needs to get off their duff and get their extra.
Yeah.
No scratches, just perfect Merle Haggard, even though he does look like LRH. And I hope you know what I mean.
That's cool, man. Yeah, we'll have to bring it over and jam to it sometime. Cody says hi, by the way. He's listening. He was listening into the net. Well, it's 11:30, and I've been working 12-hour days plus, so I'm going to call it. Good night, everybody. K5BZI.
Ray boy, 7-3, it's K5SWA, and I'm out too.
Good night, y'all. Good night, Sammy. Thanks for running that. K5LBD.
Hey Ray, got a question for you. K5BZI, KC5I, Joe.
Ray, you still there? N5TXR.
N5TXR, W5JCH.
Hey, Rod. Good to hear you on tonight. What have you been doing? Last I heard, I think you were, I don't know, maybe you were traveling or something.
Yeah, I was doing some traveling a little bit. Went out to North Carolina. Sammy, I'll let you know that Ray decided to check out about 11:20. He said he had a long day, so he's not on the air.
Roger that. Yeah, I didn't know I had to go in and check on Les. Man, we had to have medical transport today, and they really screwed the pooch. And I didn't get in here and sit down and get ready until like 10 minutes till 8. And I had to shove in part of a Whataburger and some onion ring.
Well, it was good to hear you on tonight, Sammy. I hadn't heard you on the net for a while. Last time I talked to you, I think you were thinking about moving to San Marcos. Did that materialize, or did you decide on somewhere else? W5JCH.
No, they wouldn't let us in because my wife's not old enough. So we just kind of put that on back burner, and then we thought about, we were still thinking about maybe doing some traveling, and we looked at a couple things, and then